Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk with Carrie Jemii. It is Tuesday, and I am excited to be here. First, I want to say thank you to everyone who, on my last week's show, I was asking for people to give me suggestions on shows and things like that, and I'm so appreciative to all those who responded and gave me ideas for next season. It's not too late, so go ahead and drop some show topics or subjects you want to hear about on last week's video or today. You can put it on here. I'll look over it, but I just want to thank you guys for watching my show and being inspired and so on. But today is a special show. I have a special friend on who's a first-time author. She had the internet almost going crazy with her countdown of what she was about to tell them or premiere, and they was like, is it this? Is it that? She gonna be a judge? She gonna be a lawyer? She like, hey, those some good ideas. But that was not it. She was premiering her brand new book. And today I am honored for her to be on here for her first interview. So let's be nice to her. And I'm going to go ahead and welcome her in, Miss Candies Rose Bryant. Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Welcome to the show. Again, thank you so much. I am honored that I'm going to be your first interview since you released your book. And so let's just get started. Are you ready?
Yes, I am ready.
Okay. So really quickly, just tell us a little bit about you before we even get into the book. Just tell who is Candies Rose Bryant?
So I guess the best way to describe me is I'm a mom, I'm a hard worker, I'm a taskmaster, whether at work or in my life. I'm the person who sets goals and accomplishes them and follows through. So I always say, like, my follow through is strong. If I have something that I set out to do, I am completely focused on getting that done. So that's who I am. I guess the abbreviated version of who I am. So
absolutely, sounds amazing. It sounds correct. So I'm not going to hold you all night. So we'll get started. So my first question for you is, after all this, and with the countdown and the pre-sale, the pre-release, how does it feel to be a new author?
So I guess the best word to describe the feeling would be surprising. So there's a lot of things that I set out to accomplish for my life and in my life. And, being an author just wasn't one of those things. So how it came about so organically, and of course, God and his things that he wants happen in my life, and me basically submitting to his will. So it's an accomplishing feeling. Like, I'm still, I guess, in shock. I'm still kind of soaking it up that I can now tie author to my name. Like, oh my God, I did it. So I set this goal and it happened. So I'm still kind of soaking it up. I'm still shocked, surprised, but hard work does pay off. So
it does. Again, congratulations. It is something to add to your title. So now when you're introducing yourself, you can say, I'm an author. And everyone's like, what? I want to know more information. So that is awesome. So, of course, this book has such a catchy title, right? So before we get into that catchy title, though, what inspired you to write this book?
So two things. Well, two people, really. First, I don't know if she's watching, but I have to say that Geraldine Harris has been such an intricate piece of this book coming together. During pandemic, a lot of people talk about what was birthed during the pandemic and what do you have time to do. And me and her basically talked about a lot of the topics that is written in the book. And what kind of inspired me was that she was inspired. So as I'm talking about the things that I want to share in the book, she said that she was inspired. So it in turn inspired me to be like, all right, let me go ahead and share my story. Let me share my journey. So I appreciate her so much for taking time with me. So that was the first inspiration. The second inspiration was, it's kind of twofold. So I started with a drive to work one day, and I heard the Lord say, "How did I let this happen?" And I was like,
wow.
how did I let this happen? So I thought back to a conversation that I had with my brother, and we were just kind of reminiscing on life, and we talking about how my life was before moving to Houston and how it was after. So we just having a conversation. But in that conversation, he asked me a tough question. Now, I'm not going to share the question that he asked me. I'm going to share the response. So that response was to him was, I'm human and I make mistakes too. So in that moment, I realized that not only him, but other people, I guess they really see my strength at most times. And it's probably because I'm not the most vulnerable person, but they see my strength and they really don't get, I guess, the gist of what my life and what I've contended with to get me where I am. All they see is that whatever story I have didn't break me. So this book is inspired by me allowing the breaking for people to see. So that's kind of the twofold inspiration behind it.
Wow, that's a deep answer. But just knowing a little bit about you, so you aspired to write the book after these conversations, but was that your original thought? Were you going to, how were you originally thinking you were going to present this information?
So what happened was, and I have to give you a little backstory to make it all tie together. So it's been maybe like 5 or 6 years ago. One of the elders at my old church, he told me, he's like, Rosie, you're going to be an author. And I was like, not really, but okay. And then one of my friends, her dad was like, you gonna write a book. And, you don't want to tell somebody like, you're probably not telling the truth. Like, where did you get that from? Right. But it kind of tied to that with them kind of like prophesying in the beginning.
Planting those seeds, right.
But I danced. This book originally was like a table talk. It was an interview. I had all these other things. But then as it organically started happening, and then at How Did I Let This Happen came about, and then it kind of just all tied together. Like I had everything prepared for a book without knowing it. So I was preparing for something else, but God was preparing it for something else.
Wow.
The book to fulfill the prophecy that the two people had already told me.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. I mean, that's amazing. But that's how intentional God is. You be like, he give you puzzle pieces, and all of a sudden the puzzle start coming together. You're like, oh, that piece, and you already had. That was amazing. That's great.
Absolutely.
What a testimony. So we all want to know. So how did you let this happen?
So isn't that the $1 million question for tonight?
Is.
The truth is, if I told y'all tonight, how did I let this happen, then y'all wouldn't buy the book. So that question has to be answered once you read the book and get to the end. And it'll all tie together with how did I let this happen?
Makes sense. Okay. You don't want to give a little cheat. Okay, I get it. So I'm gonna move on to my next question. I'm not gonna poke the bear. So since I helped you along this project, I did get to read the book, and I have to say that it is absolutely hands down amazing. It should be a New York seller, Chicago seller, Houston seller. So it's an amazing book, and I hope that everybody continues to buy your pre-sale book and when you release it, because it's amazing. So, but in reading it and knowing you for over 20 years, we go way back. So I was like, wow, she really put herself out here. And knowing you, that I know that had to be hard. So what feelings do you have about bearing so much of your soul and your journey in this world, in this book?
So people who know me, that's one group. And then there's the people who know of me. But this was probably one of the hardest things I've had to do. Because I'm not the person, I kind of operate in my circles. I have the people that I trust, and that's kind of the extent of that, right? So a lot of my story of course, my close friends, my family, they all know most of my story, right? But it's a whole nother thing to now be vulnerable to a world, right? So I have to say that this definitely wasn't a Candies thing at all, because my thing was like, hey, the people who know me already, they know my story. But it wasn't until I realized that, hey, your story can encourage, inspire, give others courage. So why not share it? And of course, it took God kind of poking at me to give me that courage to do it. So.
Well, good answer. Yeah, I know. I work with many authors, and everyone's always nervous, like, and you think about who's going to judge you or who doesn't really, understand. But I know that with your book, I literally have parts where I was in tears. So I just want to thank you personally for inspiring me, and I hope that other people will listen to what I'm saying and go get this book, because it will change your life. It will have you asking questions of how did you let it happen. So thank you for being vulnerable, and thank you for letting God use you and putting your story out there, because it truly is a blessing. So we'll go to one of our last questions. I don't know if you want to talk to the audience at all. If because we're kind of going fast a little here, so I don't know if you want to talk to anybody or anything. But my last question for you is, if you could think of one thing you would want your reader to walk away after reading this book, what would it be? What would you not want them to miss?
So I'm gonna give y'all a little sneak peek of something that's in the book, and that's a quote that I have in the book, and the quote is, there are people who make things happen, there are people who watch things happen, and there are people who wonder how this happened. I guess the biggest takeaway is you get to write and rewrite your story every day. You get to take control of your life regardless of what yesterday was. So if today is a new day, today you get to get the pencil and paper and write something different for yourself. So I guess the biggest takeaway is take control of your life. Life is going to always happen to all of us, but it's how you navigate life that determines where you end up. So you're not constantly asking yourself, how did I let this happen? How did I let this happen? Because you're the one that's making it happen. So that's probably the biggest takeaway from the book.
Wow. I want to put this out here so they can know to go to candiesrose.com to cop this book. But I like what you said. I think we forget that every day God says what? New mercies every day. So he's letting you, he's giving you favor and mercy every day to redo it again. And I like that, because you can, like you said, you can rewrite every day. I think we take that for granted. We bring from yesterday, we bring from 5 years ago, what we went through, and not understanding that you can change it at any second. And
because if you don't like where you are today, tomorrow doesn't have to be what it was yesterday. So it really is encouraging for people to say, like, listen, you can't predict what's going to happen. There are some life lessons that just kind of have to happen so that it can build character, integrity, and things like that. But then there's other things that we get to control. And what do you really want your life to be at the end of the day? Right. So get that pencil, get that pen, get the paper, and put it down. Like write it out. I'm the vision board person. Every year I have a list of goals that I want to accomplish. And for 2021, this book was it. So I got to X off, and I'm gonna write down the date that the book is published and launched or whatever on my vision board, to say that that's one thing that I've accomplished. So when I look back to 2021, I have a list of things that I got done, that I made it happen for myself.
I think you are the friend that told us to write our obituary, right?
Yeah, mine is already written.
Right. So that's another form, though, of manifestation, of being the person that you want people to remember, and that's so important. Because you're right. Like if I was to die, what would I want people to know about me? What would I want to have left behind? And you accomplished that, because now we have this book to know who you were and what you was about and what you wanted to leave on this earth, besides these little two boys that you have.
Absolutely.
But again, I said I only had a few questions. I didn't want to, everybody to get too much about the book. So I just wanted to just let them know that it's out here and that it's doing well. Oh my God, your pre-sales are off the charts. So I am so happy for you. I was going to say, we had a few announcements that we wanted to mention. I know the pre-sales, it ends tomorrow, right?
Yes. So get your books tonight and by midnight tomorrow.
Exactly. And these are autographed copies, I believe, right? So,
yes. And it'll have a little special treat in there as well.
Awesome. You guys hear that? So you want to hurry up and get this pre-sale so you can get the little treat. And do you know right now, when you're thinking about having the official launch, when you're thinking about what, fall of this year?
Yes. So I don't want to give the date just yet, but we're looking for possibly maybe a September date. So that's the goal. And of course, all of those that did a pre-sale, that we have their contact information so that it can be sent. And of course, we'll, share it on social media platforms as well.
Awesome. So usually my show is about an hour or 30 minutes. We're about 18. Did you want to have any questions? And
yeah, I'll take a few questions.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? We have a lot of viewers here. So did anyone want to ask Candies Rose, Bryant, any questions? If not, she got a whole lot of interviews set up. I'll just have to be the first. But if you think of something later, you probably can catch her on another platform. Any questions? Okay. Or is anything you want to? Let's do your social media. How can people find you?
So the website is candiesrose.com. Also Candies Rose Bryant on Facebook, and then Roses Are Red 7.7 on Instagram. So those are all the platforms that you all can find me on.
Okay, awesome. Any last comments?
No, I'm just excited about this new endeavor that I've accomplished, and I want to thank everybody for their support. It's kind of overwhelming. The people who you don't know you inspired, that let you know that you inspired them and that they're proud of you. So I definitely want to thank each and every one of you for watching this show tonight, for purchasing books, for pouring into me. It is totally appreciated. So thank you.
One of your friends a little slow, so she came in with a question that we already answered. But you gotta love Bree Evans. You gotta love her, First Lady Bree Evans. But so I think you answered this question, but if you want to answer it a little bit, or do you want her to just go back and watch the replay?
So I can give a little bit of a different takeaway.
She says
one of the things is that people tend to play a major role in our lives, right? But it's so important how you allow them to be in your life. So one of the things in the book we talk about is the power of people. And it is so important that you don't allow the they, which many of us never even know who they are. But they mean so much to so many people. And it's not just, regular people, celebrities, and like everybody cares about what people think of them. But again, when I tell you we can write and rewrite our stories every day, that matters. Especially when you have all these people, but you determine your life and you need to live it according to what you want to accomplish. Because the truth of the matter is the days don't stop nothing.
That's powerful. Okay. The days don't stop nothing. I love it. Okay. She did have another question that we did not answer. She told us anyway, but is your book for women, and how can men relate? Just only.
Okay, good question. So of course, I am a woman and my experiences is most relatable to women. However, my story can be the same for men and women. Some of the experiences that I've had, it's absolutely relatable. Men can also grab something from the different topics, and they can learn something about how women, how we respond to things, how we feel, things that we go through from that perspective. So our experiences is absolutely, we're all human. So some of these experiences, correlate to them. But of course, because I'm a woman and, it's kind of geared toward a female audience, but absolutely the men can relate to some of those experiences as well.
Okay. We have another question from Tawanda Harris Fuller. How long did it take you to write your book?
So this was birthed during the pandemic. So it was, so basically 2020 up until kind of like now finalizing it.
Right.
Absolutely. So in the midst of, having to work, take care of the kids, church, all of those things, it wasn't, I guess, I don't know how long most people take to get something done, but me, I was focused on getting accomplished. So we've arrived here. So this is a COVID book.
All that time sitting in the house eating, right? No, I'm just playing. But yeah, Tawanda. So for people who want to write a book, it could take you. It could take you a long time. It could take you a short time. It just depends on how much information you want to put into the book. Her book is a very good read. It's not too drawn out. It's great. It's meaty enough for you to get what she's trying to get you and keep it going and be inspired. So it just depends also on the length of books, how long it would take. So just to help you out. And if you have any questions, you can always contact me too if you want questions. But okay, well, thank you everyone for watching. And I really appreciate you, author Candies Rose Bryant, for being on the show and opening up a little bit about your book. How did I let this happen? And I am hoping that, again, everyone goes out after this show and purchase it. And what's the turnaround time? Like what? They get it about another 4 weeks or so before the books actually arrive. Okay. So just be patient with these pre-sales because we just want to get you guys excited about it, but it's gonna get there with a signature, autograph, and with a special gift. So thank you guys. And again, I'll be here again next week, next Tuesday. It'll be my last show before I take a break for the summer. So I won't have any shows during August. But again, if you have any suggestions on topics or anything, you can also put it in this week's video chat, and I would go back and look at them and see what we will be talking about in the fall. A lot of people over here saying they're proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
When I get to Chicago, Bree, it's me and you, but I love you, friend, and I am so
love you too, and thank you.
Geraldine came in. Love you, Candy. So proud of you. So,
but
To next week, guys, we thank you and have a great night.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Bye. Thank you.